This is my subscriber special. Thank you guys so much for 2,000 subscribers. 2,000 is not that much, but it's a lot for someone who basically just does trivia about a very niche franchise, and I don't even do the popular games most of the time. Again, thank you. I'm gonna be doing a weird thing where I answer some questions, and I also have a video of me unboxing several Megami Tensei collector's editions. So I'll be explaining what's in the collector's editions and what they are, as well as answering some questions that I asked for via Twitter. Without further ado, here we go. So the first thing that I'm unboxing is the Persona 2 Eternal Punishment PS1 Deluxe pack. So this one's a kind of a weird one. I bought mine for about 2,000 yen, so about $20. I believe the original retail was around $30. Mine isn't sealed, so here's the actual game itself. I really like that cover art a lot. There's 2 discs, as well as a really thick manual, and here's all this like extra paper. I didn't know what I was gonna do with that. The discs themselves are pretty cool, and yeah, I just really like this collector's edition, especially for the art. I think Eternal Punishment has some of the best Kaneko art, especially that one of Tatsuya, laying down, just chilling. Anyway, so that thing is called an obi, and this is like one of the little inserts. And then here's this cool wooden box thing. The easiest way to open it is on its side, and yeah, it's actually a really nice looking box. You can use that for anything, I guess. You can just like gut it and use it for something. I just really like the way it looks. It's nice and sturdy, and it has some heft to it. There's some instructions on how to use the watch because, yeah, surprise, surprise, the collector's edition includes a watch and a necklace. There's the Keinanjo, and there's the protagonist from SMT1. That's the card that comes with SMT1's PS1 edition thing. The watch looks kind of whatever, to be honest. I don't really like it. It's just has Persona written right over the top, so you can't even really see what it says in terms of the time, but it's cool. It's like one of those old 90s watches that you would see a lot of kids have, I guess. And then here's the necklace. I really like the necklace. It's that one thing from Persona. I don't remember exactly what it is, so maybe in the comments you guys can remind me what the significance of that thing the necklace is supposed to be made of, is from. Yeah. And this is the perfect time to answer one of the questions. So the first question is anonymous, and they ask, do you prefer Nendos or Figmas? To be honest, neither. I think that my favorite types of figures are actually statues. I prefer immobile, so as little joints as possible, because I think that for a lot of the characters, it just doesn't work well. For Nendos, I don't even like the human Nendos. I like the Jack Frost and Pyrojack Nendos the best so far. And for Figmas, I don't even have that many Figmas, to be honest. Another question, what do you think is the future of fan translations in Megaten? I don't know, with Tom gone, probably forever. That's kind of tough. We have an entire catalog of Devil Children, as well as the trading card summoner game, and Gaiten and stuff. I think that's just gonna have to be small projects that other fans do, which is, kind of sad because Tom really knew his Megaten, so I trusted his translations quite a bit. The next question's also anonymous. I know this sounds dumb, but how would you feel about a crossover between SMT and Yakuza? It does sound kind of dumb, but Yakuza got Dead Souls, which is like a zombie beat 'em up game, so I think anything is possible. And in regards to that, yeah, a Yakuza X SMT crossover thing where this time around there's demons. I think that would be fun. It'd be a lot of fun, especially with Yakuza's gameplay style and just demons everywhere. So instead of, random Yakuza and thugs and stuff fighting you, it'd be kind of cool if it was demons instead, So the next thing I'm gonna unbox is, something that people have often questioned and had queries about. It's the Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne Vanilla Deluxe Pack. So I say vanilla because this is actually the version that doesn't have Dante from Devil May Cry. One of the weird, bizarre things about this is that while the box is huge, the collector's edition is actually fairly small. The box art itself is kind of plain, but the main draw is having that sweet cash cube incense burner. But if you pre-ordered this, you'd also get that bizarre Demi-Fiend figure. Just look at him, and it's whatever. It's kind of cool as a pre-order bonus, but I don't really think that I would ever buy it by itself if, it wasn't for the fact that it was rare merch. So this is one of my least favorite collector's editions, actually. As you can see, there's the vanilla box art. It's blue. There's also an alternate cover that's Tsutaya's box art, which is white. And then there's the Chronicle version, which is Raido instead of Dante, and the cover art's a little different. It's bundled with Raido 2. And also, here's the special DVD that comes as a pre-order bonus, or as a bonus. I don't remember exactly. But as you can see, it's pretty interesting. That's the DVD where the video has been translated into English, and it's on YouTube, so definitely would watch that if I were you. So this cash cube thing is actually a really snug fit. It's hard to get off. It's really annoying. But inside, it's actually like a metal cast cash cube. Or I keep saying cash cube. Inside the cash cube is the metal cast Amala drum. And it's made of 3 pieces: the stand, the drum itself, and then the top part. I love the detail. I can't really read with that, so I don't really know what it says, if it says anything at all. So the reason why there's so many holes in the top is so then the incense could be, incensed. And the incense themselves are based on different incense that you find in the game, for strength, vitality, etc., etc. There's also this CD. Yeah, I know my box is kind of beat up. So the CD has tracks that you're supposed to listen to while burning the incense. Each one is named based off of the different incense. And there's this little booklet thing that kind of explains how everything works. Quite a nice little thing. A little guide so you know what you're doing. Bam, look at that, it looks so cool. While I put this away, I'm gonna answer another question. So this one asks, do you think Harry Jack is the best Jack out there? I'm gonna ignore that because that's a dumb question. This one asks, what are your thoughts on the Sega/Mega CD port of SMT1? Personally, I think it's not as good as the PS1 port. I think that's the best port. Though Filthy was telling me that the GBA port is actually really fast and kind of fluid, so I might try that one someday. I've never tried the GBA port, to be honest. The Sega CD port has just like ugly graphics in my opinion. It's redone, but not for the better. And next is the Shin Megami Tensei 9 Deluxe pack. So this one is also weird because it's huge. It's just a big box. But unlike the Nocturne one, I quite like this box. It's laden with art, and it's always nice to see. And yeah, 9 is one of those weird games, but I really like this collector's edition a lot. My SMT9 is sealed, so unfortunately I can't show off the manual, but if you look at the box itself, the first things you're greeted with is the SMT9 as well as Maria from the game. And I really like the Maria figure. I want to take it out, but it's also sealed. If you look, there's the chain, and it's actually loose, and I really like that detail. And this is kind of why I like figures that are statues over figures that have joints, because you can go in more detail and make sure to capture the character a lot better, but then in some ways you lose that with articulated figures. So right away you see the identification card, which you'd have in game. I think it's kind of cool. It even has a back which you're supposed to sign and whatnot, like you're actually a debugger. I think that's kind of cool. And then in that little tin is this really cool watch thing. Maybe it was a watch, maybe it was a compass, I don't remember. Bam, look at that. I think it was a watch, because I think that piece of paper is instructions. And I really like this. This is actually the second one I bought. So what happened is, when I first got this collector's edition, I actually unboxed it, took out the watch, and I was using it. Not actually using it to tell time, but just as a display thing on my keychain. And I somehow ran into something that shattered the glass, and I was just so sad, so I had to buy a new one. Luckily, those weren't that expensive at the time. So this is kind of interesting because the things that it comes with is a binder and then a set of sheets. So these are data sheets that explain the demons. Mine is sealed, so I didn't want to open it. It's cool because it kind of describes all the demons, or that's what I think they're supposed to do. And then the binder itself is supposed to hold all that information. It's just an in-game themed binder, and I really like it. It's just quirky, unusual, but you could actually use it if you wanted to. I'm not going to use mine, however. All right, so let me answer another question while I'm putting these away. Another anonymous question. Why was Majin Tensei 3, Ronde, so different from Majin Tensei 2, Spiral Nemesis? Well, that's because Ronde is not necessarily Majin Tensei 3. In the Megaten Maniacs, it's classified as Majin Tensei 3 or a Majin Tensei game. I think that's literally because it's an SRPG, but it's not related to Majin Tensei 1 and 2 at all. Those two have a timeline, a very linear timeline. The first game comes first, the second game comes second. This one's not related to either. I think that it's different because they were also trying to get into the whole 3D thing, the 3D space, and they kind of did bad, but I think that's more of a product of the time rather than them being inept. This was another game that wasn't made by Atlus specifically, but rather the same company that's been doing all of those games, Multimedia Intelligence Transfer. And next we have Shin Megami Tensei If 50th Anniversary Edition. So this 50th Anniversary pack is unusual because, well, first of all, it's called the 50th Anniversary, which clearly PS1 era SMT If hadn't had 50 years past. That's because it's actually referencing the school in game's anniversary. Again, this is another game that I have that's sealed, so I don't want to open it. Just look at it. It's beautiful. So yeah, the 50th anniversary is actually a reference to the school rather than the game being 50 years old. This one's my favorite of this set, I think. Our second favorite, I guess. So in here is a school binder thing, or notebook. Not too sure, because like I said, everything I have here is sealed. But I'm going to open this one up just because, you know, 2,000 subscribers, who would have thought? Yeah, I was really disappointed that I opened it just to find that it has nothing. I think those plastic sheets are supposed to be for your identifying information, your school ID and whatnot. Maybe, I guess, I don't know. All in all, that was disappointing. But I'm gonna open this other thing. It's a small sheet set. Let's see what it's got. So it looks like this is supposed to go into that small notebook thing. And it's got calendar on it. Oof. I was so scared that I was going to tear the paper there. So cool. It's got the art all mocked up, you know, some stats on the characters or info on the characters, which is kind of nice. I don't know what this other stuff is. It looks like information about the game itself, maybe? Or maybe it's in-game lore. And then that's the music sheet for the theme of the school. And this here is a set of stickers with the different ailments and stuff that you can get in game, and that's kind of nice too. I was kind of hoping that this would have a bunch of different bits of like imagery and trivia throughout the calendar, but it doesn't. And it's from like 2004, so whatever, 2003. And it comes with a pen. Pen has the school's name on it and everything. So this pack has a school theme, and I think it's really cool. It's a cool school theme. So let's answer some more questions. If Kaneko ever returns in the public eye, in what form do you think it will be? Art for a new Atlus game, art for something unrelated to Atlus, or just updating his Twitter account? So that Twitter account is automated, so not that. He only really does art when it pertains to work, but it doesn't seem like he's interested in doing art at the moment. So I don't think he'd return in that facility either. I think if anything, they might use him to come up with concepts for future Megaten games, maybe. But even then, I don't really think so. Maybe he might get commissioned to do something else like he did with that Oda Nobunaga. Do you agree that SMT is basically dead, at least in the form that it was from 1 to SJ, without Kaneko at the helm of the thing? All the non-Kaneko designed demons besides Minotaur and Chemtrail suck, and the story in 4 and Apocalypse suck too. So with this question, I don't necessarily agree. I think that it's changed. And to add to that, Kaneko didn't really helm many of the Megaten games, aside from coming up with the concept behind Strange Journey and Raito. To say that he helmed the game series kind of does a disservice to everyone else involved, because that's just not the case. It was a combination of a bunch of different people who were all instrumental to the establishment of the basic core concepts that really define Megaten as a whole. It was a lot of people. Kaneko was one of them. There was also Okada. There was also Shogo Isogai, Ryutaro Ito, Kazunari Suzuki, and Tadashi Satomi. And that's a lot of people who really made Megaten what it is and what it was. To say Kaneko is the linchpin is not necessarily accurate in my opinion, based on what I said. To be honest, without Okada, it changed drastically. Without Satomi, it changed drastically. Without Suzunari, it changed drastically. So I don't really agree with that. And the whole demon designs thing, I liked chemtrail, and I appreciate the kind of concept of having a whole bunch of artists collaborate. And the story itself is based on a premise that Kaneko wrote, which they collaborated with him on. If you didn't like the story for 4, that means you just don't like Kaneko's ideas, because that story is a Kaneko story. Apocalypse, however, is them doing their own thing, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I personally didn't like it, but we can't just get mad at new things for being new or at modernity or whatever. You just have to hope for the best, you know, and brace for the worst. Here's another question. Will SMT5 finally de-nichize the series? I feel like it'll sell well as long as it's not released too late in the Nintendo Switch's lifespan. There's a huge demand for it. I think it's safe to say that the Switch is not gonna be dead for another few years. I also think that SMT5 is coming soon. Like, not just coming soon as in I don't know when, but I almost feel like it's coming within the next couple years. So whether it'll de-nichize the series, no, I think it'll always remain somewhat niche. It doesn't have mass appeal, and that means that whether it be the gameplay, whether it be the music, the story, the art, it doesn't have appeal that can capture a wide audience. It can capture quite a bit of people who are interested in that sort of thing, but I don't think it's necessarily gonna just break out and become a big thing without sacrificing some of the things that makes it what it is. Okay, so I have 2 more questions. The next one is Raito or Dante in SMT3? Raito's better. Not just because he looks better in the game, but also because he's a better unit in the game. And the last question, or I guess questions, is from the same person. What got you into drawing, and when did you start? Also, do you still have your early drawings from back then? So I started drawing as early as when I was in 3rd grade. So when I was about, what is that, 10, 11? I've always been fascinated with drawing as a kid. One of my earliest memories was drawing whales. I used to want to be a marine biologist when I was a kid. I still have early drawings, but not from back then. I just have some from early high school. And I'll put them in this video if I can find them. It'll be right here if I can find them. What got me into it? I've just always liked art. I just always liked things where I can express myself. So whether it's art, writing, music, anything like that was always kind of my cup of tea. The second question, which technically is like the 3rd or 4th question. If you have time, do you expect we'll see any SMT port on PC or Switch based on Persona 4 Golden's 10,597 overwhelmingly positive reviews and EMEAA's gaming chart for June 22nd? Absolutely. Like I said in my previous video about Persona 4 Golden being on Steam, Catherine Classic was the first step. They actually made a pretty good amount of money from that. It sold at least 200,000 to 500,000 units. That's a lot for a game that's basically just US and whatever PAL regions exclusive, and for having very little marketing, as well as being the old version of the game. All of it was saying it sold well. And Sega actually released a statement that basically said, we're happy it sold well. This is part of the first step. The second step was Persona 4 Golden, and it sold really, really well. And I suspect that this is kind of the next thing. We're gonna start seeing more ports. Hopefully we do get SMT ports, but I kind of think the next one was gonna be Persona 3 Portable, and then we might see some other things. That new survey that they released yesterday was not appealing and did not give me much comfort in thinking that they're considering SMT. It seems like they're focusing on Persona 3, 4, and 5, and Persona Q is its own series now, apparently, just because there's 2 games. I don't know. If anything, I'm worried that they're basically kind of conflating all the other games that aren't SMT as SMT, because that's kind of what they did in the survey, and maybe we're not going to get anything else in terms of SMT for a while, or maybe we'll just get the ports. They'll see how good or bad the ports do, and they'll decide what they'll do from there. In terms of Switch, I think that there's a chance Persona 4 Golden might be ported to Switch. After all, Catherine Full Body is being ported, which I think is a test. Tokyo Mirage Sessions was done by Nintendo, so I don't really consider that one part of this, renaissance of porting games, especially for the West. I really do think Catherine Full Body is the test, and if it does well, we'll probably see them, play with the idea of porting games to the Switch more seriously. But I think PC is where they're thinking right now. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for the 2,000 subscribers. I think the next subscriber special I'll do will be the 5,000 subscribers. If I can hit that by the end of the year, I'll also tack on a giveaway on top of that, you know, just because I have so much junk. And you guys like Megaten, so you will like the junk that I have to give away. Without further ado, goodbye, fellow Megatenists.